a quick reminder that we have just a few days left for you to get the year-end closeout products. Many, if not, well, I'll say many of the products in our holiday catalog are retiring. Oh, now I'm seeing the comments. Great. And many of these that are retiring are discounted. So you can find those on my website, marynabe.stampinup.net, and you'll be able to see what is left. I looked recently and there are many, 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 many retiring products still left, and many of the discounted ones as well. But January 4th is the last day to grab those discounts. Okay. And then in addition to that, a friendly reminder that once the year-end closeout ends and the holiday catalog is no more, we will start our the launch of our mini catalog on January 5th, as well as Celebration. Our biggest annual promotion each year is January 5th through February 28th. Catalogs have been mailed out to my customers. I am hearing some people have received them. I'm hearing others haven't. I'm hearing some received one or the other. The two catalogs and the Celebration brochure, those were mailed separately by Stampin' Up. They will not come in the same package. And if you get one, you will get the other. If you have any questions about that, feel free to contact me. And please know that during Celebration, we have wonderful incentives for people to shop, for people to host. There's extra benefits there. And then also, if you join, you're going to get 5 6x6 Designer Series paper packs free, in addition to the awesome starter kit deal. And I would love you to be a part of my Merry Stampers team. We are a group right now of about 50 some, and we continue to grow, which is exciting. And I have people all over the United States on my team. Some are business builders, some are happy shoppers, and everybody in between. So it's going to be awesome. Okay. All right. Today you are going to create along with me. I'm going to make 2 projects, and the first one is going to be a desktop calendar. And then the second one will be one of those darling boxes that I showed you on my last Facebook Live when I was showing the Love You Always suite. They're called the Love You Always treat boxes. So we're going to do a desktop calendar and then decorate a Love You Always treat box. I have decided to, again, stick with products from the Love You Always product suite because it's so fabulous. And they're all fabulous. It's so hard for me to choose just a couple of things to showcase. But thank you all for being here. Happy New Year. Please click share. I would appreciate it so, so, so much. And I'm going to, first of all, be working with the Love You Always foil in the Sahara Sand color, as well as that specialty Designer Series paper, also in the sand color. Trying to straighten out my camera a little bit so we're not cockeyed there. Anyways, what we're going to do for our desktop calendar is use a sheet of Sahara Sand cardstock. So I'm making a tone-on-tone project with this one. And I want to cut my sheet to 7 inches by 8.5. Okay, 7 inches. And I know that my length is already 11 inches. So to get that 7-inch length, I'm just going to cut off 4 inches. And you can set this piece aside, as you will not need it. And then, so now I have, let me double check this. No, we will need this, sorry. So now I have 7 inches by 8.5. And I want to score this in half. If you have seen any of my Facebook Lives or blog posts where I make the slimline cards, I'm using basically the same slimline card base for my desktop calendar today that I am using for, that I typically use for my slimline cards, okay? Now you have a piece that measures 8.5 by 4 inches, okay? And we are going to score this at 1, 2, and 3 inches. Let me get this right here. 1, 2. I guess I did 3, 2, 1, didn't I? Sorry. 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1. You get the same thing. Alrighty. I'll set that aside for now. You'll need your bone folder, and you're going to fold this extra piece in a Z fold. So fold it in half first, and then fold one side back at you, flip it over, and on that third score line, you're going to fold that piece back towards you as well. I'm just going to go ahead and make a nice crease on my base as well. Now we're just going to go ahead and put this together right away. Any kind of strong adhesive will do. I'm going to use that one might be empty. I'm going to use the multi-purpose glue because it just makes it a little bit easier to move around so that I can line up that long edge as well as the 2 short sides, okay? Flip it over, make sure that all your edges are lined up. It should look like you have one piece, not an extra piece hidden behind it, if you've got it all lined up well. And then on this one, I'm going to add some additional adhesive there. And I'm just going to fold this over and then bring it up and match, again, match the long side as well as those short sides on the accordion folded piece. So this is what it looks like from either end. And then it will stand up nicely on your desk. Okay. Whoops, it slid out again. Let me match that up. The other thing is, if you want to make these and mail them to people, they just fit in your standard letter size envelopes, business envelopes that you can buy at any office supply place. All right. And then I'm going to cut some more paper to layer on top. And this one, so I'm going to layer it like that. So this one I'm going to cut, because our base is 8.5 by 3 inches. Let me think, 3.5. I almost said that wrong. 8.5 by 3.5. I'm going to cut this to 8.25 by 3.25. Okay, 8.25 by 3.25. And this one I'm going to go down another layer, but I'm actually going to skip the next size down. The next size down in terms of the 1/4 inch layers would be 8 inches by 3 inches. I'm actually wanting a little more of that beautiful Sahara sand foil to show. So I'm going to cut this to 7 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, 7 3/4 by 2 3/4. And let's get all those layered together. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Oh, keep grabbing that empty one or plugged one, I'm not sure. Let's see. There, maybe it was just plugged a little bit. So if you have a particular color of cardstock or a layer that you want showing a little bit more, you can skip the next size when you're cutting. You can even skip 2 if you want, an even larger border. Or of course you can make those borders smaller, maybe cut your layers at 1/8 of an inch instead of 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm ready to adhere this to my base now. Again, the multi-purpose glue is nice because it's forgiving. It gives you a little time to play with it and adjust it or move it if necessary. Okay. And now I want to add my calendar to it. So I ordered this from tailorexpressions.com, and they do come in packs of 10. So just so you know that, I don't remember what the price was. Yeah, I really don't remember what the price was. I ordered mine a very long time ago because I used them for my January Creative Escape weekend. But it measures 3 inches by 2 1/4. Okay, 3 inches by 2 1/4. What I'm going to do is put a piece of this foil behind it. Now I often will just create a little frame for it like that. Okay, so let's see how that looks. So I said 3 by 2 1/4. So I'm going to go 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. And see how I like that. Okay, that looks fine. I'm going to see what it looks like if I make the foil 2 3/4 wide, which I believe it already is. So 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, because then it'll give a little bit different look because it'll match up to the other foil edges. I don't know, what do you think? The larger or the smaller? First one to respond, I'll go with your answer. The larger or the smaller? Any thoughts on that? Thoughts? Smaller. Okay, got it. I'll go with you. But like, that's just something I do. I like to, you know, I talk about playing with my crafts. I guess that's the same as creating and coming up with alternate solutions or alternate layouts. So sometimes I like to do that, and sometimes I like to show you and then get your opinion. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to adhere this. By the way, the multi-purpose glue, it's like a sequins or something on it. The multi-purpose glue is also really excellent for working with the foils. I'm going to put it just like that. Okay. And because it is January 1st, I'll even pull off my cover tab. Now I've got these fun, playful alphabet dies. And while the name is a little bit deceiving because it also has numbers. So I'm going to do on here, there should be a little hashtag symbol. Here it is. Hashtag #2021. Does anybody see my one here? Here it is. It's kind of a funky looking one. Some of the letters have more than one die, which is kind of nice. The E, the A, things like that. Some of those most popular letters. The numbers and symbols, you just get one of each. But I usually find that that's more than adequate. Okay, and I'm going to really bling this up by using my foil paper once again. And I was going through here looking for my, here it is. I wanted to use those foam adhesive sheets that we have. I just think it's a fun thing to use. I'm just going to, here's what I typically do. I like to just pull some of that adhesive backing back and then lay my cardstock DSP foil sheet, in this case, whatever I'm choosing to use. And then I will just lay these on top. I'll have to cut the two twice, obviously. I try to get them close together to not waste. The other thing is when you just pull back that adhesive backing and fold it over to die cut, it eliminates getting on any of those sticky bits onto your die cutting machine. So you can see I'm using my new mini Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. I love it. So lightweight, I can pick it up with one finger or my thumb. I love it for traveling, doing crafts with at maybe somebody else's house, or taking to my creative escape weekend coming up. I also use it a lot just to carry upstairs because my Stampin' studio is in my finished basement. So I do most of my creating down here, but sometimes I take up some of that busy work, the die cutting and assembling of cards, things like that. I'll take it upstairs in the evening and maybe do it while I'm watching TV. And it just is super convenient. Now I'm going to be honest and say I have die cut with the foam adhesive sheets. I feel like I might have an extra layer in here because this is so thick. Let me think about this a second. I have done this on my large machine. Nope, that's not it. But I have not done it on my smaller one. So we're gonna experiment a little bit here. Because you know, I always like to know exactly what the machines are going to do for you and me. Oh yes, it's going through nicely. It is thicker, so it's going to take a little more effort, as you can see. And I usually die cut standing up, but doing my Facebook Lives, I'm sitting down, and that makes it a little bit harder for me. And guess what? My dies moved. I didn't check that. Okay, that's a bummer. But I did get a 2. I can pull it out there, stand it up so it doesn't stick all over everything. and I did get a 0. I should have checked that better. So now let's see how my 1 turned out. I think it's okay too. Also, I should say. Yes. So I need to redo my hashtag, and I need another number 2. And this time I will be more careful to make sure it hasn't slid around before I roll it through. And of course, you know the solution to that as well, right? You can always adhere those in place with a little washi tape. Can actually stand up. It's easier for me to hold the handle on top. There we go. In the next few days, I haven't planned out which day it's going to be, but I know lots and lots of people are interested in that new mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine. I tend to call it the mini. And I will be doing some tips on using that because it is slightly different using it than the big one. All right, let me get things back in place. Did anybody else stay up last night for midnight to welcome in the new year? My family was here and we did, which was fun, but then everybody went home or to bed right afterwards. Okay, so now I have these things. And I'm going to give you a tip for placing things in a straight line. This is a little difficult since I already put my folded stand piece inside. But what I like to do is just kind of measure, okay, I have 4 inches here, and I have hashtag 2021. Okay. So I kind of like to start in the middle, which would probably be my 0, or will be my 0. You can also measure top to bottom if you want. That's about 1 1/8 inches. I think I need to go up a little higher here. But if you start in the middle, and you can even eyeball that center. You barely made it up, Sally. Is that what you're saying? I felt the same way, and I hate to say this, but I'm more concerned about staying awake tonight for the Ohio State game. Oh, that doesn't start till, what did my brother-in-law told me? 8:45. Is that crazy? So I'm planning on working today. I slept late this morning, and then I was upstairs doing some computer work, and Emily and I had on the UC Bearcats game because she's actually a Bearcat right now, although don't tell the Bearcats, but her true heart, she's a Buckeye still. But, and actually Andrea taught the head coach's daughter, actually, well, daughter for sure. I don't know if she taught any of his other children. But yeah, so I got to know Luca. She said the Fickles are a great family. So that was kind of fun. I got to see one of Andrea's former students on TV today. And you can see I just lay, you can lay anything, a piece of scrap paper, whatever, just as a guide to help you lay those evenly. And you can also see I didn't really press them down. Look at the hashtag. I just kind of gently laid them. That way, if I need to adjust, make an adjustment, they pull off easily. You just pull them slowly. Okay, so that's that. What do you think? Do I need anything else on it? Anything else on it? Sometimes less is more, but that's pretty elegant, isn't it? I was just thinking, this is so elegant, you know, brides and Families will count down to weddings or special occasions. Boy, this is a fancy wedding countdown calendar, isn't it? But anyways, so there's my new desktop calendar for our new year, 2021. Very similar to ones I've made in the past, just all size adjustments. Okay. All right, who's ready for another project? Sally, you're saying no, you like it as is. Don't add anything to it. Okay, maybe you're sort of that less is more kind of personality like I am too. All right. As I was showing the Love You Always products in the, oh, I got to put these dies in my little magnetic thingy so I don't lose them. As I was showing the Love You Always Sweet products on, was that Wednesday? I can't even remember. Yes, it was Wednesday evening, Facebook Live. One of the things I showed you was our Love You Always treat boxes. They come in a package of 10. They're all folded flat. It's these two pieces for one treat box. And they are $9, so 90 cents a piece. So I'm going to show you now how to put one of these together. So I did show it the other night, so if you were watching then, bear with me, but it never hurts repeating. And I want to be sure that everybody's watching knows how I put this together. So all of the Stampin' Up! Boxes that you get are pre-cut and pre-scored. So the first thing you do is open them up and score on all the edges. For the sake of time, I'm not using my bone folder, but it never hurts to do that. So then I'm turning this way. I'm going to turn these out just so you can see while I'm working on the inside of the box. I'm going to pull those small flaps in on each end, and then push those longer flaps down, okay? And it doesn't stay quite down yet, but after I do both sides and show you the next step, you'll see how they fall into place and stay in place. So this is what it looks like now from the inside, okay? The next thing I'm going to do is take the shorter flap. I've got 2 flaps left. I'm going to take the shorter of the flaps and push it down. And notice it's got this little notch cut out. That is going to be very useful in helping this stay closed. So this is what it now looks like. Okay. And then I'm going to take this flap, fold that into the side, and the little notch sticking out catches in the cutout slit of this side. And it's just like that. So no adhesive, nothing to be used, super easy to put together, and it's quite sturdy. Then it has this sleeve, and it's already put together, but it's folded flat, and you just are now going to slide the box inside that sleeve. And there it is. If you're wanting to know the size, it is 2 3/4 by, looks like 4 1/8 inches long. 2 3/4 by 4 1/8, and it measures 1.5 inch high. Okay, so it's a really nice size box. It's deep. It's almost like the size of box you would get a bar of soap in. But you can see that it would fit lots of things. Pieces of jewelry, treats, little cookies. You could do a stack of tags, like gift bag tags, and put them in here and decorate the outside of the box and wrap a ribbon around it to make a nice little gift for somebody. Okay, so let's go ahead and decorate this now. I really don't have anything to put in it. I suppose I have cookies and things upstairs, but honestly, I don't need any more treats and things in my house, so I am not buying them, just to show you. and fill it, for example. But anyways, let's go ahead and decorate this. So now I need your help. Again, I'm using the foil sheets from the Love You Always suite, as well as that specialty designer series paper. So my question to you is, should we decorate the box with Blushing Bride? Or should we use the Rococo Rose combination? Okay, you decide. Anybody have a preference? I'm going to wait just a moment and see if I get a response on this. Make sure I've scrolled all the way up. I'm so glad you all like the calendar. Any thoughts? Blushing Bride versus Rococo Rose. Tammy Ellen says Rococo Rose. Then that is what I will do. Okay, so now let me show you an example of how you can decorate this box. What I like to do is to know the measurements, which I just gave you, okay? And I've already told you, let me grab a piece of scrap paper. I've already told you that, hold on, that the length and width is, well, come on, Mary. The length and width is 2 3/4 by, I said 4 1/8, I believe. Let me double check that. Yes, 4 1/8. And then we know that the sides are each 1 1/2 inches. Okay. So this is how I figured out. I know I need 2 1 1/2 inch sides and 2 3 1/4 inch sides. So if I add those all together, 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 is 5 1/2, and 1 1/2 and 1 1/2 is 3. So that means I need a piece that is 8 1/2 by 4 1/8 inch to go all the way around. However, that means the ends are just meeting. So give yourself a little extra. So I'm going to cut 9 inches by 4 1/8 inch. Okay. Just wanted you to see how I do the math on that. Add up the 4 sides that you're going around, add a little bit extra so they overlap, and then you want to know your width, 4 1/8. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with this piece, and I know some of you are going to be like, oh, Mary, that's so much pretty foil you're using. Honestly, what are we going to do with it if we don't use it? It's better to use it than hoard it, right? Better to use it than hoard it. So I'm cutting this at 4 1/8 inch wide by 9 inches. So you can pull the arm out on your cutter and cut it 9 inches, or you can do a little bit of math. We know it's 12 inches long. 12 by 9 is 3 inches, and just cut off a 3-inch piece. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this, only I'm going to, well, let's hold off and wait on this a minute. Okay, now, I always like to start on the bottom, okay? And I don't like to, and this probably goes against what some others may think, but I don't like to pre-score when I'm wrapping the boxes, because it sounds really easily, okay, score at 2 3/4, then move over 1.5 inches, but each time you score, you're using up just a teeny tiny smidgen of your Okay, I expected to have more like 3/4 of an inch. Did I not cut that right or add right? 2 3/4 is 5 1/2 plus 3 is 9 1/2. Oh, I only gave myself a 1/2 inch. I want to give, well, that's all right. I'll make it work. I would say give yourself, I was thinking I had 3/4 of an inch. I don't know why, extra, but it's a 1/2 inch. But as you can see, till you wrap it around all your box with the score lines, it's really not even quite a 1/2 inch. So that's why you want to give yourself plenty extra. So in the future, I would probably cut this. If you want to be completely safe, give yourself a whole inch and cut it at 9 1/2 inches. But I would say at least 9 1/4 for this. Okay, so what I do is I showed you, I start on the bottom at one of the edges, one of the long edges, and then I'm just wrapping it. And as I wrap, I'm kind of pressing the paper to all those corners as I go around. Now, I could finish off by closing up my box right here, but then I see this tab. To hide that a little bit better, I'm going to adhere that tab down first and then pull this over it. Do you see that? And then you barely even notice it. Now for this project, I think the best adhesive to use is our tear and tape. And what you're going to do is put it at the back side of each end. Tear and tape is my favorite adhesive for boxes and 3D projects. You can use your piercing tool to pull up the edges. And if you use the piercing tool, you won't end up with nail polish that looks like that. Oh well, sign of a crafter, right? So I'm going to add this. And then again, it's already been wrapped and I've kind of pressed down on the corners, but I want to make sure that I'm matching up these short ends to the box well also. And then it'll close like that. So pull up when you're sure you have it lined up well. Pull off that adhesive backing. Pull it as tight as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect corner folds. It'll still look very nice. And now you've got your belly band covered. So instead of a plain white belly band, I now have this fancy foil one. If you want to go back over those corners like that, go ahead. Okay, so it looks really nice. Now, we can decide to make a little bit narrower strip and go all the way around if you want, or we could decorate just the top. My thought is, I feel like going all the way around. Now, if I were making a whole lot of these, I might want to use less of this specialty paper on all of them because it can add up, the price can add up quickly. But I want to show off this DSP and I'm not going to be making a lot of these. So I'm going to make a band that goes all the way around. And this time, instead of making it just 9 inches, I'm going to give myself that extra inch and cut it at 9 1/2. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the same edge as I did with the first foil sheet. And I'm just going to kind of hold that in place. And as I wrap it around, come on, stay in place. Wants to move around against that foil. As you wrap it around, just kind of go over those corner edges a little. And you're going to make sure to match up these edges as well. You don't want them cockeyed off like that. You want to make sure that they're matched up like that well. Okay. Now again, I could adhere it just like this, but I don't want this seam showing right there. I'd rather have my seam along one of those long corner edges because it's hidden even more, giving your box a more professional look. This time I'm going to pull off both of my adhesive backings at once. Know that this specialty designer series paper is thinner than our foil, so it's a little bit easier to work with the foil, or than the foil. Okay, so again, I want to lay this as I already have it because I kind of have those subtle score lines, and I know I want that small flap here. But before I adhere anything, I'm going to just kind of lay it in place. And I'm mainly doing this because I want to ensure that my top edge and bottom edge are equidistant from the edges of the foil or the edge of the box. And once I know that, then I'll just pull up the shorter edge, adhere that down, pull up that other side, make sure the left and right sides are matching up with the first fold, and then press this down and see. Now you can see that seam is right almost directly along that fold of the box, and it's hidden nicely. I mean, if I flip it over quickly, you don't even know what is the right side and the wrong side, or the top and the bottom. Just like that. Okay. Now I think we need to jazz this up a little bit. Tammy Allen says, good color combination and gift idea for Valentine chocolates, gifts, cocoa bombs. Oh, that's awesome. Our family had fun. My girls and I had some fun making the hot cocoa chocolate bombs, whatever you call them. We Emily, the girls got me that for as part of my birthday gift in December. So those are super fun to make. Alrighty. I guess we should pull. As you know, the Love You, if you are watching Wednesday, you know that the Love You Always Suite is what I call one of those mega suites because it has 2 bundles included with it. The Always in My Heart bundle and some amazing dies there. And then it also has the Forever and Always bundle, which is what I used on the cards I made Wednesday evening with the black and white and pop of color theme. Okay, so, oh, this too has Here's to Another Year of Happily Ever After. So nice anniversary. You Are Always in My Heart. These also would be great for bridal showers, as a birthday gift, wedding favors, anything like that, in addition to Valentine's. Okay. Let's see here. What should we put? Anybody have a preference? Let's use this set today. Anybody have a preference? And we can even use some of these fun dies. Sally loves it. Lisa loves the beautiful paper. Lisa, thanks for being on. I haven't seen you in a while, I don't think. Who else is here this morning? Tammy, Cindy, Reinhardt, Sally, Amy, Pam, Kathy Sheely. Hi, Debbie Parker. Nice to have you all with me. And I would love it if you would share. Click share. You can do it now, or you can share this live afterwards as well. So let me pull some of these out so you can see these dies. Lisa just sneaking in at work. Oh, I'm sorry you're at work today. That would be fun to put on there, this fancy die cut. We could cut that from foil and then maybe put a message on. Should we try that? Let's see. I'll have to get another piece of the foil. I'm going to cut another piece of the plain Rococo Rose foil sheet. In the pack of the foil, you're going to get 6 12 by 12 sheets. There will be 2 of each color. Okay, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I'm going to measure the width of this because I don't need to cut a piece of that beautiful foil any larger than this. And it looks like if I cut a 4-inch piece, actually a 4 by 4 is going to do it for me. So if this die measures 4 by 4, that tells me that I could cut 9 of these shapes from a single piece of 12 by 12 paper. I think I might have to turn it just a wee bit. But yes, I can fit that there. And this is going to be just a little bit too wide for my mini cut and emboss machine. So therefore, I want to use my larger Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this. And for this, I'm using 1, 2, platforms 1 and 2. I always think when I say that, platforms 1 and 2, I think of Harry Potter. Platforms 9 3/4. Our family did 2 very cool Harry Potter 3D puzzles. Wow. They were a bit tricky, but really, really fun. And it's amazing what they look like. I know I showed one right after Christmas, maybe that Sunday, but I'm trying to think, what was that one? Diagon Alley, I think, was the one we did first. And then we did Hogsmeade. Not Hogsmeade. We did, Andrea has that one. We didn't do that yet. We did Hogwarts, which is super cool. And they're both upstairs on my dining room table, so I'll have to take a picture of those later. Okay, these are pretty much falling out, but the pieces are super tiny. So let me poke out the rest of these. When I do this, I just push on the negative space and pull up on the die so that negative space is laid flat with my Stampin' Pierce tool. I probably should have rolled this one back and forth because they're all cut. They just didn't all punch out. Okay, I think I've got them now. This die is so pretty. And I love that once you get this pretty die, which was my intention, oh, I'll just use that. You've also got this fun shape to work with as well. So either one would be so pretty on there, right? What do you think? Should I use the fancy one or should I use the plain one? And then I could put this on a card. What do you think? I feel like this is getting lost against all that pattern. I'm thinking I should go like this. Pop this up with some dimensionals. Just like this, and I can add a sentiment at any time, a little banner that says Happy Valentine's Day, or something suitable for an anniversary, your birthday, whatever you want it to be. But for right now, I think I'll leave it just like this. And of course, you could add embellishments, ribbon, whatever you like to dress it up even more. Okay, Sue, you're saying agree, use it like this, and then put this on a card? Oh, I think that sounds good to me. Where's my other piece? I thought I was giving you guys the 2-for-1 today with the projects, but it's now become a 3-for-1. And that is absolutely fine and perfect with me. So I've pulled some Rococo Rose cardstock, and look, I already have a card base cut to that size, which means it was meant to be. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this beautiful Love You Always specialty paper to 4 inches by 5 1/4 for a card front layer. Okay, now I have this tremendous idea that I can do this for my my daughters, my nieces, as for a Valentine's surprise. Doesn't really go have a top or bottom, but sometimes I end up looking at that just to be sure. Oops. And we're going to pop this up with some of those mini dimensionals. These minis are awesome for intricate things like this. Does anybody use the minis? You can also cut up your big ones, your big regular size Stampin' dimensionals, but it's just super convenient to have these little ones on hand too. Just like that. So you can see I just put them at the larger, more solid piece of the die cut. Got them all. I'm going to put this right in the center. Oops, I've got a little bit of my dimensional showing there. I don't like that. Let me pick this up and reposition it. And now it's not sticking for me because I folded it over on itself too much. Put another one there. That may seem like a really small detail to say, I don't want that little bit of white showing, but it's those kinds of little details that really give your handcrafted projects a more finished, polished look to it, almost a professional look, I'll say. All right, should we add a sentiment? I think we should here. I love this one. The best kind of friend is the kind like you. Be my Valentine, happy anniversary. You are always in my heart. Gosh, I love that one too. Any preferences, ladies? I'm going to stamp it with Rococo Rose on Whisper White. Sharon loves the mini dimensionals, love the foiled papers. So elegant. They absolutely are elegant, Sue. Okay. As I pull in some Whisper White to stamp on, I want to address the issue of some of you may have heard that Stampin' Up! No longer has Whisper White envelopes or cardstock to sell. Let me make this clear to you. This was not a Stampin' Up! Decision. The paper mill that was producing our Whisper White cardstock envelopes and other products suddenly went out of business due to the coronavirus pandemic. So it's a very, very unfortunate situation. People have lost their jobs. You know, of course, losing a business and losing a job and income is very devastating. So I try to keep this all in perspective. But yes, the Whisper White or lack of Whisper White for Stampin' Up! Has been a bit challenging for us to deal with. It came out of the blue very suddenly. Stampin' Up! Worked very, very aggressively to find a solution, another mill that could produce the quality of white cardstock and envelopes and other products that we're used to, that same high quality. They believe they have found that source and have been working out, I guess, working out a contract and a timeline with that new paper mill. And we as demonstrators are waiting on word to hear what that timeline is going to be. I think as customers, it may impact you once you run out of Whisper White. I guess it depends on how much Whisper White you use on a regular basis. I think for some of us demonstrators that do classes and big events or classes to go, online things, that sort of thing, it can be a little bit more impactful immediately. So I've just been trying to stay optimistic. I know that I can find creative solutions to this problem. For example, I just adhered a piece of Whisper White to the inside of my card. If I want to change this up, I could use a lighter coordinating sheet of colored cardstock, maybe the Blushing Bride, in place of the white. So it's light, it's still great for stamping on, and it's still light enough that any handwritten message I put inside would be very easy to read. So that's how I'm thinking with this, and I hope to be providing you more examples of that as we go on and deal with this. And hopefully this lag of white product is not going to be too long, but I can't tell you if it is or isn't at this point. Stampin' Up! Is just, they're doing their very best, and I trust them as a company to make good decisions. And when I say good decisions, not just contractual decisions, but also quality of our products. So as soon as I have more information about that, I do know that they plan to call the new white Basic White. We have Basic Gray, Basic Black. I know that they're planning to call this new product Basic White. What I don't know is when we will have that available to sell. And even once it starts being manufactured, if it is already or not, I'm not sure. But even so, they need to build up an inventory of it before they're able to provide it, to make it available to order. But I will keep you posted. And we're gonna make it work. We'll do the best we can. We'll make it work. Okay, so let's stamp. Let's just go ahead and stamp. Where's the Valentine one? Be My Valentine. Okay, now there is a fun banner cutout here that we can use to stamp that on, and I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to grab a piece of my cardstock, make sure it's long enough for my die, and I'm going to stamp Be My Valentine in the Rococo Rose color. I'm doing a real tone-on-tone thing here. Okay, and bringing my mini cut and emboss machine back in with my platforms 1, 2, lay this on top. This time I am going to use my washi tape to hold that banner in place. I know you've seen me do this trick before. One thing I want to help you or remind you of is that when you do this and you're using the washi tape to hold your die in place, make sure that your washi tape is on the die and the outside of the die. It needs to catch the edge of the die as well as be on the outside. You don't want to put it on the part that you are going to be using on your project, okay? Keep the washi tape off that part that you're going to be using in your project. And this die is going to do something super duper fun. Once your plates catch in the rollers, you want to grab the top of your machine and hold that in place, just like this, okay? And then I'm just going to pull this off and pop this out. And did you notice there's these two parallel lines on each side? Those make little score lines. So if you can see right here, there's two little score lines on the right and two little score lines on the left. Just bend those like that. You're actually going to end up Z-folding those. So the first one, you fold back, and then you fold the other one forward to get that little Z-fold. And then it looks like an actual ribbon banner and will stand up on your card, just like that. And when you adhere this, and I'm just going to use some mini glue dots. I'm going to put one right on that edge closest to the fold, closest to that first fold. Well, there we go. I'm going to place it like this. And I'm actually going to hold these Z-folds so they're kind of in a closed position when I adhere it to my card. And then it will just pop up. You can see how it's popped up off the center of the card. But if you hold those Z-folds closed when you're adhering it to your card front, that means when it goes into your envelope, it will be folded on the same score lines and keep it looking nice and neat. Okay, super pretty. Do I need anything else on that card? Anything else on that card, you think? Okay, Sally, you and I were thinking exactly the same. How would a gem on the banner be too much? See, that's what I was thinking, just one gem right there. Let me grab something. I was thinking of pearl first, but now I'm kind of leaning towards I'm just going to do a regular rhinestone. Great minds think alike. And you're thinking even on the ends. Yeah, I think I'm going to go, I think either one would work. I'm just going to start with the one. But I think definitely you're on to something, Sally. Maybe maybe two little ones on this side. One here and one there. Oh, I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty. I love it. Okay. All right. No, you think it's too much with the big one? Starting to think I should have used a small one there. How's that? Oh, you could color a gem. Now, normally I would color my gems with my Stampin' Blends before I put them on, before I add them to my project. So I'm just going to be real careful and just color along the top of those. But I don't suggest this way. I suggest that you color when they are on the still on the package, and then lift them off either with your piercing tool like that. I'm going to do this. And there we have our odd numbers too. 3, 4, 5. Pretty. Love it. Thanks for your input, ladies. I always appreciate that. Okay, that's all I have for you today. We went a little long, but like I said, you ended up getting 3 projects today instead of the 2 I was planning on. I'm just going to hold this like this because you won't see it real well if I do that. So we started by making our desktop calendar. This is what it looks like from the sides. Stands up really nicely. If you want to make it and send it to somebody, you can simply slip this into a letter size or business size mailing envelope, and it will be perfect for that. And then we did our Love You Always treat box. I really love the size of this. Not sure how I'm going to use it with my daughters and my nieces, but I'm going to figure something out to put inside there. And then I made this lovely accompanying Valentine card. All right. And Cindy, I think, were you the person that sent me the message about getting back into stamping? I'm so happy to hear that. Whether it was you or somebody else, I always love to hear that people are ready to get back into stamping. Okay, some really beautiful, elegant projects today. Maybe I can set this here. Thank you for joining me. No, that's not going to work. Thank you for joining me. And I will note that I do have a new host code for the month of January. And then I also want to bring your attention to some changes I've made for my Facebook Lives. I'm trying some different times. They're still going to be on the same days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mondays will be my Make It With Mary at 11 a.m. in my VIP group. Fridays will be at 2 p.m. in my VIP group. And then Wednesday evenings, I'm moving from 7 East Coast time to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and that one, Wednesday evening, is on my business page, Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. And when I get onto my Facebook Lives, no matter which group I'm in, I do try to share it to the other group. The only thing is, it's in your best interest to get onto either, to the specific site that I'm on, either the VIP group or my business page, no matter where I'm streaming from live. Because if you're on the live site, the site where I'm going live, you will be able to comment and I will be able to respond and read those comments. If you happen to be on the other site, you'll be able to comment, but I can't look at those until afterwards when I go back to review on the other site. Okay? Happy New Year. Have a great night, a great weekend, and go Buckeyes.